Every morning you face the same question. Will you control the day, or will the day control you? In ancient times, the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, left us powerful morning practices to win this battle before it even begins. Today, you will discover 10 Stoic morning affirmations that can transform your routine into strength, clarity, and peace. Most people do not realize they are even making this decision. They stumble out of bed, their hands reaching instinctively for the glowing screen beside them, and without thinking, they hand over their mood, their focus, their peace of mind to the endless noise of the world. A notification arrives, a message flashes, a headline provokes anxiety, and already the day feels stolen. But the Stoics knew a secret, a way to begin the morning not with surrender, but with sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius, a man who bore the weight of an empire, recorded in his private journal a ritual of the mind. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. These are not the words of resignation, but of preparation." He was reminding himself, life will bring difficulties, people will test me, but I can decide how I meet them. He chose strength over surprise, readiness over resentment. And this is where your own power lies. In those first moments after waking, your mind is pliable, impressionable, open to direction. The modern sciences of the brain suggest the same. The thoughts you feed yourself at dawn can echo through every hour that follows. Yet, how many waste this golden opening? They scroll, they absorb, they react, and before they have even stood tall, they are already burdened. The Stoics offered another path: to consciously train the mind at sunrise, to align it with truths that endure, to anchor the self before the storms arrive. These truths are not fantasies, not empty affirmations meant to make you feel briefly better. They are declarations rooted in reality, shaped by centuries of reflection, battle-tested through hardship, proven by philosophers, soldiers, and ordinary men and women who sought inner freedom. 10 phrases, simple, steady, direct, hold the power to prepare you for the chaos of the day and the calm within it. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to wake up already steady, already calm, already unafraid? What if tomorrow you opened your eyes and, no matter what awaited you, criticism, disappointment, uncertainty, you met it with quiet confidence? The Stoics had a word for this state: ataraxia, a deep and unshakable tranquility, a stillness of the heart that no storm can scatter. It is not a gift of birth, it is a skill, a practice, something earned one morning at a time. Over the next few minutes, I will guide you through these 10 morning truths. They are words once carried into the chaos of war, into the councils of power, into the simple lives of those who wish to suffer less and live more freely. Each phrase addresses a hidden chain: fear, comparison, distraction, emotional reactivity, procrastination. For 2,000 years, these principles have endured. They served Marcus Aurelius in Rome. They guided Epictetus in the humility of a slave's life turned philosopher. They consoled Seneca as he prepared for death with dignity. And they can guide you now. But here lies the challenge. Wisdom only works when practiced. The words alone will not save you. The question is, will you repeat them? Will you carry them in your heart when the test comes? Discipline is the gate between knowing and living. So pause for a moment, breathe, and let us begin together. Remember this. You control your morning, and by controlling your morning, you shape your day. Number 1. I am responsible for how today feels. The instant you accept responsibility for your inner world, everything shifts. This is not about blame, it is about ownership. You claim the freedom to decide how to respond, regardless of what unfolds around you. Epictetus taught, "We suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about events." Alter the judgment, and suffering dissolves. Most people live as captives to circumstance. Their emotions rise and fall with traffic, with weather, with the moods of others, with the numbers in a bank account. They wake up and immediately surrender their state to the messages on a screen. This is slavery of the spirit, and it is why so many feel powerless. But when you declare, "I am responsible for how today feels," you break those chains. You assert independence. You announce that your peace and your confidence are not up for sale. This does not mean sadness will never visit or frustration will never knock. It means you see them as guests, temporary, passing through. They do not own the house of your mind, and because you cannot always control what happens around you, you return to what is always within your reach, your judgment, your choice, your response. Each morning, place your hand gently over your heart and speak with conviction. I am responsible for how today feels. My emotions are my choice. My peace is my decision. Today I choose strength over weakness, clarity over confusion, hope over fear. Say it slowly. Pause between the words. Let them sink. Watch how freedom grows when you stop being the victim of circumstance and become the author of your inner experience. In that shift, a new kind of power begins to breathe inside you. Number 2, nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. Imagine your peace of mind as a high fortress upon a hill, guarded by walls of stone. At the gate, there stands only one guard you. Every morning you decide who and what enters. Most leave the gates wide open, allowing every insult, every worry, every stray fear to march inside and set up camp. Marcus Aurelius once more reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He knew that true mastery does not lie in bending the world, but in keeping the mind unshaken. So when you declare, nothing can disturb my peace without my permission, you set the boundaries of your kingdom. You remind yourself, my tranquility is not a public square where anyone may shout, not a playground where chaos runs free. You are the guardian of your inner world. This does not make you cold or unfeeling. It makes you centered. Someone may speak harshly. You acknowledge it, but you do not hand over your peace. A setback may occur, you face it, but you do not let it crush your spirit. The Stoics called this discipline the discipline of desire, to want only what depends on you, to let go of what never has. And so, each morning, when you rise, remember, the fortress is yours to guard. Open the gates wisely, keep the walls strong, and carry your peace as the greatest possession of all. From claiming the guardianship of your peace, we naturally turn to the deeper truth that makes such guardianship possible, the sacred pause between what happens and how you respond. The Stoics often spoke of this hidden interval, a moment so brief it slips past unnoticed by most people, yet within it lies your greatest freedom. Have you ever felt the rush of anger, the stab of fear, or the pull of anxiety come so suddenly that you reacted before you even realized? That is what happens when the pause is lost. But when you train yourself to see it, to hold it, to breathe inside it, you discover the strength that sets the wise apart from the hurried. Epictetus reminded his students that events themselves are neutral. It is our judgment that paints them as blessings or curses. That judgment is chosen in the pause. Each morning, look into the mirror and remind yourself slowly, nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. I am the guardian of my inner world. Today I decide who and what gains access to my mind. My peace is not for sale, not for rent, not open for negotiation. Can you feel the difference when those words sink in? You move through the day, less shaken, less scattered. You remain steady not because misfortune avoids you, but because you have learned to protect what matters most. This is why I invite you to whisper it aloud, to even share it with others as a promise. I am the guardian of my own peace. And then we move further, to another principle at the very heart of Stoicism. Today I focus only on what I can control. The fastest road to misery is chasing control over what was never yours to command. Yet, every day, countless people exhaust themselves over politics, the economy, the weather, the moods of others, all things far outside the boundaries of their power. Epictetus placed the entire philosophy on this foundation. Some things are within our power, others are not. Master this distinction, he said, and you master life itself. So what is truly within your reach? Your effort, your attitude, your words, your actions, your reactions, your decisions. Nothing more. Not the past, not the future, not the behavior of your neighbor or your boss. These lie beyond you, and to try to command them is to waste your strength. Most people reverse this order. They give nearly all of their energy to the uncontrollable while neglecting the one domain they could actually govern. They worry about tomorrow's storms while ignoring today's steps. They fret about what others think while losing sight of the person they wish to become. When you wake and tell yourself, "Today I focus only on what I can control," you are making a strategic choice. You are declaring that your energy will be invested only where it can bear fruit. It is effectiveness over anxiety, action over worry, influence over helplessness. The Stoics used exercises to train this. One was the circle of control. Picture your life as 3 circles. The first contains what you wholly control. The second, what you can partly influence. The third, what you cannot touch at all. Wisdom means placing 90% of your energy in the first, a little in the second, and none in the third. Just pause and imagine how light you would feel if you lived this way. This practice changes mornings. Instead of being crushed by the weight of all that might go wrong, you wake strengthened by what you can set right. Instead of weakness, focus. Instead of 1,000 anxious threads, a single line of clarity. Stand, look yourself in the eye, and say with conviction, "Today I focus only on what I can control. I will not waste energy on what lies outside my power. My attention rests on my actions, my effort, my responses. Here is where my power lives." And now comes the next truth. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. Most people live on a roller coaster of self-esteem, soaring when they succeed, crashing when they fail. But the Stoics knew a deeper truth. Your worth is not tied to the fortune of a single day. Seneca, advisor to emperors and one of the wealthiest men of his time, tasted both triumph and exile, honor and disgrace. Twice he was cast out, and finally he was ordered by Nero to take his own life. Yet through it all he discovered that while wealth, status, and position vanish like smoke, inner worth endures. He wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. The meaning is clear, your value transcends circumstance." Society whispers the opposite. It teaches us to measure ourselves by salary, titles, achievements, or relationships. We wake thinking that unless we prove ourselves with accomplishments before nightfall, our existence is somehow less. This is exhausting and destructive because it ties your sense of value to forces not yours to control. But when you repeat, "My worth is not measured by today's outcomes," you step free of this trap. You declare that your value is inherent, unshaken by victories or defeats. You existed before this day's trials, and you will exist after them. Your essence is not on trial. This does not mean abandoning effort or rejecting excellence. It means separating your effort from your identity. You can strive with vigor without chaining your self-respect to the result. You can feel disappointment without devastation. You can enjoy success without depending on it for your dignity. The Stoics describe such external outcomes as preferred indifference. It is natural to prefer them to welcome achievement, to enjoy prosperity, but to depend on them for your worth is to make yourself fragile. True confidence is knowing who you are at the core, regardless of what fortune brings. So each morning, breathe this truth in. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. I am valuable because I exist, not because of what I achieve. I will give my best effort, but my dignity is not on trial. Success or failure, I remain worthy of respect, of love, of my own peace. Can you feel the weight lift when you say it with conviction? That is freedom from the chains of performance. Finally, let us step into the fifth declaration. I will act, not just intend. Between intention and action lies the graveyard of so many dreams. Every morning people rise with fine plans to begin the business, to reach out to the friend, to exercise, to write, to change. And by evening, the plans remain plans. Marcus Aurelius warned himself against this trap. He wrote, "In the morning when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present, I am rising to the work of a human being." He knew that intentions alone are nothing more than disguised procrastination. The difference between those who build and those who wish is not talent, luck, or circumstance. It is the courage to bridge the gap between thought and deed. While most perfect their plans, the Stoic practices perfecting their execution. While most wait for the right moment, the disciplined create the moment through action. To say, "I will act, not just intend," is to commit yourself to becoming a person of deeds, not merely a person of dreams. From the commitment to act rather than merely intend, we move to an even sharper truth, the realization that virtue is not thought, but action. The Stoics never tired of reminding us that wisdom without deeds is nothing more than words on a page. To know what is right but fail to live, it is like holding a lamp yet refusing to light the path. Have you ever felt the ease of planning, dreaming, and imagining, only to find yourself paralyzed when it comes to doing? That gap is where so many lives remain unfinished. The Stoics teach us that to close it, one must step forward. However imperfectly, Marcus Aurelius reflected that it is not enough to admire virtue, you must embody it. Seneca urged that philosophy should be woven into the fabric of daily acts, not reserved for lofty speeches. Epictetus, once a slave, knew that words unaccompanied by practice are merely entertainment for the idle. virtue is action. This is why a morning declaration matters. It ties intention to behavior. Modern language might call this an implementation plan, but the Stoics had no need for such terms. For them, it was simply living in accordance with nature, aligning what you resolve to do with what you actually do. Instead of vague promises, I want to exercise, I should call my family, you say. I will act on my health. I will act on my commitment to those I love. The shift is small in words but immense in effect. You stop being a spectator in your own story and step into the role of the main character. You no longer wait for permission. You create opportunities. You no longer wish for improvement. You bring it about through your own hands. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and affirm, I will act, not just intend. Today I choose action over analysis, progress over perfection, doing over dreaming. My intentions mean nothing without my actions. Today, I act. From here, the next affirmation rises naturally. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. The Stoics loved images of fire, steel, storms, symbols of resistance. The same flame that melts butter hardens iron. Each morning you face a choice. When life's fire burns hotter, will you soften and melt, or will you be tempered and strengthened? Most view obstacles as punishments, as evidence that fate has turned against them. But Stoicism offers a radical reframe. Obstacles are the training ground, the gymnasium of the soul, where virtue is exercised and strength is forged. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What if the struggles before you are not punishments but preparations? What if they are not happening to you but for you? Financial strain, relational turmoil, illness, uncertainty, none of these are pleasant. Yet, within each difficulty lies the invitation to grow. To resist this truth is to remain weak. To accept it is to become unbreakable. Seneca wrote that misfortune is virtue's opportunity. A muscle grows only by facing resistance. A character grows only by facing trial. Each hardship asks, will you curse and retreat, or will you learn and advance? So when you rise in the morning, whisper with conviction, every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. I welcome difficulties as teachers. Today's obstacles are tomorrow's strengths. I do not pray for an easier life. I pray to become a stronger person. With this mindset, you cease to be a victim of fate and become a student of life. You stop asking, why me? And begin asking, what lesson is here for me? The Stoic does not seek suffering nor glorify pain, but he accepts struggle as the cost of growth and growth as the price of meaning. Marcus, surrounded by wars and plagues, never begged for ease. Instead, he trained his mind to endure with grace, to see in every hindrance a new path. Epictetus, scarred and crippled, did the same. Their lives echo the same refrain. Challenges reveal what you are made of, and in them you can discover strength you never knew you possessed. And so we arrive at the next declaration. I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. Comparison is subtle, seductive, and poisonous. It steals joy quietly, corrodes confidence, and blinds you to your own progress. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and, before even stretching, reached for your phone only to be met with images of others' vacations, promotions, or celebrations? Suddenly, your own life feels less. You measure your behind-the-scenes reality against someone else's highlight reel. Epictetus warned of this trap. How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself. Your true competition is the person you were yesterday, not the stranger you envy today. Social comparison has become a constant noise, but the Stoic path is silence. When you affirm, "I will not compare my journey to anyone else's," you are choosing authenticity. You are declaring that your pace, your struggles, your timing, your growth are uniquely yours. Trying to wear another's shoes may look impressive from the outside, but inside it only causes pain. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste life chasing applause, for the crowd's opinion is fickle and fleeting. True success is living in accord with your own nature, not the shifting standards of others. So each morning say, "My path is unique, my timing is perfect, my progress is meaningful. I celebrate others' success without questioning my own worth. I am exactly where I need to be on my journey." From comparison, we step into discipline, the foundation upon which Stoic practice rests. The eighth declaration is simple yet life-altering. I choose discipline over motivation. Motivation is as changeable as the weather you feel it today. It vanishes tomorrow. Discipline, by contrast, is like the breath you practice it regardless of mood, and it sustains you whether skies are clear or storming. Marcus Cato the Younger, admired for his integrity and steadfastness, trained his body and mind to endure discomfort. Even in winter's bite, he walked barefoot through Rome, not out of vanity, but to steel his spirit. He knew that comfort weakens, and that discipline is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. Have you ever waited for the perfect wave of inspiration before beginning a task, only to wait forever? That is the trap of motivation. The disciplined do not wait. They act. They rise when tired. They work when unmotivated. They persist when others falter. The undisciplined wait for the lightning strike of motivation. The disciplined create light through daily practice. So each morning declare, "I choose discipline over motivation. My actions are not hostages to my feelings. Whether I feel inspired or not, I act. Comfort will not command me. Discipline will." This is the freedom of a Stoic living by principle, not by impulse. From the commitment to choose discipline over fleeting motivation, we arrive at a deeper truth, becoming someone who acts not because of fleeting feelings, but because of steadfast values. Discipline, the Stoics taught, is like a muscle. It grows through use. Every choice to act when comfort whispers otherwise is like adding weight to the soul's strength. Every time you do what is necessary instead of what is easy, you prove to yourself that you are trustworthy, that you can be counted on to honor your own word. Epictetus often reminded his students that philosophy is not meant to be recited but to be lived, and living it requires discipline. Marcus Aurelius, too, acknowledged that the body often resists rising in the morning, but the mind can remind itself, "I am rising to the work of a human being." Discipline is the art of aligning behavior with virtue, even when it feels dull, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. Think for a moment of those whose lives you admire most. Do you imagine they are driven each day by bursts of motivation, brighter than yours? Hardly. Their difference lies in discipline. They have learned to detach their actions from moods, to wed their behavior to values rather than to fleeting desires. So make the vow, "I choose discipline over motivation. Today I do what I said I would do, regardless of how I feel about it. My discipline is my strength. My discipline is my superpower." Whisper it, write it, Share it if you must. My discipline creates my destiny. Just pause and feel how different life becomes when consistency replaces impulse. From this vow, the ninth declaration emerges naturally. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. Perspective is everything. Gratitude is the lens that can turn ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. Each dawn, you have the choice to focus on what is absent or on what is already present. One path leads to misery, the other to abundance. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Gratitude is not denial of hardship, but recognition of the countless miracles woven through it. Consider it now. Your heart beats without command. Your lungs draw air without instruction. You have shelter, water, breath, and the gift of hearing these words. Can you feel how immense that is? And yet so often the mind wakes searching only for what is lacking. To declare that gratitude will shape your day is to retrain the mind to notice abundance instead of absence. The Stoics practiced what they called negative visualization, imagining the loss of what one has, not to despair but to cultivate appreciation. By contemplating the absence of health, of loved ones, of possessions, they sharpen their gratitude for their presence. This morning, exercise shifts your entire way of seeing. Instead of waking to a list of problems, you wake to a list of blessings. Instead of feeling deprived, you feel abundant. Instead of dwelling on obstacles, you notice opportunities. Say it aloud. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. I will notice the good that surrounds me. I choose appreciation over complaint, abundance over scarcity, wonder over worry. My grateful heart creates my happy life. From gratitude, we turn to the final declaration, one that ties all others together. I will end the day better than I started. Each sunrise offers a contract. How will you use these hours? Invest them well, and by nightfall you will be richer in wisdom, stronger in character, closer to the self you aspire to become. This is not about grand victories each day, but about the compounding of small, steady improvements. Seneca practiced an evening ritual of self-examination. He would ask himself, what failing did I resist? What error did I correct? What improvement did I make? His aim was not perfection, but progress. Have you considered what even a 1% improvement each day could become? Mathematically, it compounds into transformation far beyond what seems possible. But the greater truth is not in numbers, it is in mindset. With this frame, every difficulty becomes material for growth. That hard conversation is a chance to practice courage. That mistake becomes instruction for tomorrow. That delay is an exercise in patience. Every experience can be transmuted into wisdom if you allow it. And notice this. Such a mindset makes failure impossible. Even on a day filled with mistakes, you can end it wiser, stronger, more prepared for the next. Even in disappointment, you can refine judgment and fortify resolve. Even when goals are missed, lessons are gathered. To end each day better than you began is to treat life itself as a school. Each dawn a new lesson, each dusk a chance to reflect. Say it to yourself. I will end the day better than I started. Today I will use my hours well. And tonight I will lie down improved, however slightly, from the self that rose this morning. When you practice this consistently, you build momentum that carries forward. Each day builds upon the last small gains, adding into great transformation. Marcus Aurelius wrote that life is composed of acts, and each act can be done with virtue. Do one act well, then another, then another. That is how character is built. The future self you long for is born out of the small choices you make today. Your task is not to achieve perfection, but to show up faithfully, to keep walking the path. And so, we return to the whole. 10 morning declarations that are more than words. They are a framework for living. Responsibility for your own feelings. Guarding your peace. Focusing on what you can control. Knowing your worth beyond outcomes. Choosing action over intention. Embracing challenge as growth. Refusing comparison. And committing to end each day improved. Together, they turn you from one who merely reacts into one who creates. The Stoics understood this. Strength is not about ignoring problems or repeating cheerful thoughts. It is about cultivating the inner resources to meet life with wisdom, courage, and grace. You do not need to be flawless. You need only be consistent. Begin with the declaration that resonates most deeply. Add others as they root themselves into your morning. With time, these words will become more than affirmations. They will be habits of mind, anchors of soul. Remember always, your mornings shape your days, and your days shape your life. Just pause, breathe, and choose wisely. And so, as each morning shapes the day, the days together weave the fabric of your life, and your life becomes your legacy. Seneca once wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Remember this, every sunrise is a chance to live with wisdom, courage, and calm. If these words touched you, subscribe to the Stoic Room, like this video, and share it with someone who seeks peace. Explore our playlist, Stoic Wisdom, Mastering Emotions and Inner Strength. Walk forward calm, strong, serene in all circumstances.